This is Lee with 82 Game and 12. YouTube channel Sunsliver 75. I don't know what number video this is, quite a few. Glory and Empire, First Victories, Wellington vs. Napoleon, Lock and Load Publishing, Terry Dougherty, Designer. And we are at the 1340 turn. And we have to start off with the weather, which we don't have to check. And we have the command segment. So, first we have the initiative phase. And with the initiative phase, both players roll a die. Red die is British, blue die is the French. Okay, so we've got a 9 and a 1. So, Huneau adds 2, and Wellington adds 3. So the total here will be 4 and 11. So the French will get to choose who goes first. And of course, the French want to go before the British have a chance to go. And with the French having 11, they are going to have 3 orders. Okay. And the French, who had no orders last turn, okay, have 4. And at 4, they get 1. So they have 1 order, whether it's going to be attack or reserve. Just have to wait to find out. So it doesn't look like the British are going to be able to do much, but they have to place their order first. And the French have already decided they want to go first. So, this is the Battle of Vimeiro. It's your plan, scenario 4. If you use the Western Ridge module, which I do use and am using, you have this Western Ridge map that's included. And in that scenario booklet, it's scenario 2. But the only difference really is with the Western Ridge, you're going to have a lot of the British units lined up over on that Western Ridge, as historically. And then moving toward Vimeiro when Wellesley discovered that the French were not attacking the Western Ridge. So, but in fact, they were going to attack the village of Vimeiro. So that's where we're at. We're at the 1340 turn, which is the 1:40 hour, 1 o'clock, 40 minutes in. Each turn is 20 minutes. So we have the command attachment phase. I don't think we really need to change anything presently with in regard to who's what's attached where. I think it's going to be the same as we've had. So we just move straight to the order phase, and the player who lost the initiative places orders first. So the British have to decide, put this off to the side here. The British have to decide what they're going to do with their order. So we're looking here. We've got to decide where or who probably needs to be activated. We've got let's see, this guy's on this hill now. I guess we could activate let's see, Nightingale over here. We've also got Boughs again. We don't know exactly what's going to happen there. We've got, here we've got let's see. Fane. We could do something with Fane. Decisions here. Ackland will be able to roll for initiative. Crawford. We could use Crawford. Crawford's got one of his units out here, extended out here alone. More than likely going to be attacked. They don't really stand much of a chance. Wow. Well, I guess it looks like maybe we give it to Nightingale. Nightingale's got these two units here, this unit here, unit here. That could be used against this unit. At least this unit. Although that yellow disc means that they're shaken. And so this unit's shaken. Maybe Boughs over here might be able to do something, but I feel like yeah, everybody else is going to have to hold on. I think they're going to put their attack over here with Boughs. So he's going to have the attack order. And then Ackland, we'll have to roll for him. But okay, so we placed that. Now the French have to decide, okay, where will they place theirs? They have cavalry that's going to be ready to attack. So we're going to put one here. He's got a range of 4, so he can reach this leader and this leader. So that's taken. All right. And then we want to have, let's see, where is Delabord? Where is Delabord at? Is he way over here? Yeah. Of course, Vimeiro is too far away, but I can give an order to Vimeiro, and I think I will. You know, most of his units are they're shaken though. 1-1. What is this guy doing way over here? Oh, he's going to be out of command. He only got a range of 2. So this one here, I know will be out of command. Would put that so I don't forget. I don't know that they're going to be able to attack. I might be better off Kellerman. I'm going to give Kellerman one. Lasson, I think I'm going to give it to Lasson. Well, Lasson's got a better chance of, with who knows, yeah, he's got a better chance. Board. Yeah, he's got a better chance. I'm going to give it to I'm not going to give Vimeiro. I'm going to give it over here to Lasson. Okay. Because he can have Charlot and Pettit, his 2 brigades, do something over here on this side. So Vimeiro's not going to have any. He would have to roll. So, yeah. Okay. So the British are going to roll with Ackland. Okay. They have to get less than a 2. I rolled a 4, so no order there. And then, let's see, Delabord got to roll there, and he gets to add who knows command initiative, which is 2. So he's got a total of 5. So he's got to get less than a 5. Got a 3. All right, so he gets an order. Attack order. Which means he can place Messler. And Vimeiro I'll also give him who knows other opportunity with command initiative. So he has to get a 3 or less. 2 plus 1 is 3 or less. And I got a 2. So he does get an attack order. Okay. And I think I can do that because he's outside of the command range of this leader. So I'm able to roll. If he was within command, I wouldn't be able to roll here and there. So that's where we're at. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attack orders. Now, we have the orders given, and we've done the orders initiative phase. So now we can move to the first player turn, which will be the French. The French do not want to give the British the first turn so that they can rally some of their troops before they perform some attacks. So the French will go first. And we have the recovery segment, which is the rally phase, cavalry recovery phase, or and then the artillery resupply phase. And I just take care of the rally and the cavalry recovery at the same time. So we're going to start down here, rolling for recovery. So with this unit here, I rolled a 77, so they will recover. All right. Which means I can take this and place it on top of that unit who cannot roll for recovery because they are in a zone of control. All right. We move here. We have Charlotte. Minus 10 plus 3 is going to be a minus 7. Rolled a 72, so they will improve to just disordered. Okay. Then we have this unit, which is in line with Pettit. So that's a plus 2, minus 5. It's going to be a minus 3. Rolled a 70, so they're going to improve. And so I'll be able to give this one here to this unit. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. And they can't roll for recovery, neither can they. Let's see, this unit here is shaken. It can roll. Minus 10. Rolled a 25, so they're going to stay shaken. This unit here. Roll minus 10. 71, so they improve to just disordered. Okay, and this unit here, which is disordered, minus 5. They rolled a 24, so they're going to stay disordered. That unit there can't roll because they're in a zone of control. This unit here, which is disordered with Delabord, so that's a plus 8, minus 5, so that'll be a plus 3, 55. So they're not disordered any longer. And let's see, we have this broken unit here. That's minus 15. They rolled a 7, so they're going to rout. 1, 2, 3. Let's turn them around. And they are routing away. I can go ahead and roll for, what is this? This shouldn't be, this is attack. Okay, that's going to be there. I could go ahead and roll for these artillery, but I'll wait. Okay, so let's roll for this routed unit over here. That's minus 20. 62 becomes 42. So they're going to actually improve all the way to shaken, which means I'll have to put out a, no, there's a shaken marker. Okay, so they can turn around, and now they're just shaken. So, all right. Then we move to, let's see here, what do we got here? Okay. We're going to move to this artillery unit. So they've got -5. Rolled a 77. So they recovered. This unit here is shaken. -10. 68. So they're now just disordered. They're out of command. Okay. Let's see. This unit here is not in the zone of control. They're shaken. A 78. Shaken. So they improved to just disordered. That unit there cannot roll because they're in a zone of control. Okay. Then we go here. This unit here is not in a zone of control. This unit's facing this direction. So they roll. They've got a -10. Rolled a 68. So they are just disordered. Okay. Then here, got low ammo. Oh, they had to go limber. Okay. All right, so 33 -10. 47, they're just disordered. I need to check about that because artillery that's unlimbered, that's forced to retreat because they become shaken. I guess they're not being assaulted. They're just being fired on. But I need to check that. Okay, so the shaken unit here. -28, they're going to stay shaken. This disordered unit here, -5, or an 11, so they stay disordered. Okay. And let's see here. Now we move to here. This unit here is still shaken. I didn't know it was. So that's going to be -10 plus 2. 82. So they're going to improve to disordered. This unit here, okay, shaken. -10 plus 2 is -8. And they rolled a 9, so they're going to stay shaken. Then this unit here is disordered. -5. 16, they stay disordered. And then over here, 35. 66, so they're no longer disordered. We could actually give that one to somebody. Let's give it to this one at the front line here. Okay. Now, I don't have any, I think I can remove this. Let's see where his leader is. Okay, yeah, he's no longer out of command. Okay. So that takes care of cavalry recovery, rally. Now we move to the artillery resupply phase. Okay, so here we have who know, okay, which is going to add 2 to the die. So we got a 9, so they're going to be back to full supply. Okay, just have to put a limber marker on there. Okay, and then this other unit here, 8 or 9, and roll to 0, so they don't get supplied. And that's going to be it. Okay. So now we can go to the, let's see, what is this here for? Who is that on? He's going to be in command. He's going to be in command. Let's see, his command range is 3. Okay, so I don't know, who is that for? Who is that on? Who is this? Okay, 2. Okay, he actually belongs over there with, let's see, 12-3. 12. Yeah, he's the Psalms. He belongs, okay, but he's over here getting, yeah, he's over here getting resupplied, but he's also out of command. 15-6. This would be one of who knows, so, yeah, okay. So let's see here. Okay. So let's go to the fire combat. And we're going to start over here. So we've got this unit here. And we've got to decide where we want to fire at. We could fire here or here. We've got this SED. We don't want to fire here because, you know, that's going to be a -2. So we're going to fire here on this unit. So a strength of 3. And it's not in the flank. We'd have to be over here to be in the flank. So it's just going to be a strength of 3. Let's see here. All right. Ooh, rolled a 99. Okay. That's going to be a morale hit. I mean, yeah, it's a morale hit, but it's a step loss. It's a step loss. So to take a step loss and a morale hit of, let's see, -20. And so that they roll a 64, so that becomes a 44. So they pay, well, let's see, yeah, a -20, and they don't have any other modifiers. So, okay, so they passed. All right, they took a step loss. Okay. Now we're going to have this unit is going to fire at this unit, and they're in column, so they just have a strength of 1. They're disordered -1, so they're at 0. They've rolled 0, 0, 0. So I go from rolling a 9, 9, 9 to a 0, 0, 0. All right. This unit here they don't have a skirmisher out. This unit doesn't either. They're in line. Okay, so now we go to this unit who's firing right there. Okay. All right. And they're in column. They're going to be firing at 0. 40 is not going to be enough. So then we move to this right here that has skirmishers. They're just ordered. Now, they can fire right here, and that would be in his flank. And so that's what they want to do. They want to fire into his flank. And he doesn't have a skirmisher. So, why is he out of order? 4. Where's his leader at? Is it way over there? Oh, yeah. Bowles is way over there. So, okay. Okay, so they're going to fire into that flank right here of this unit. So, skirmisher 3, -1 for being disordered. So, strength of 2 into the flank is plus, let's see, yeah, plus 2. So they're at 4. Strength of 4. 44 is a morale check, and they rolled a 99, so of course they're going to pass. Okay. Let's see here. Who's next? These guys have a skirmisher. So these guys have, they have, okay. So they have a skirmisher. Okay. Skirmishers, strength of 3. Okay. -1, so they're at 2, and they're firing right here. So we got a strength of 2 there. Okay, 33 is not going to be enough. It's not effective. It's like, okay, where does that go? Where's this supposed to be? I don't know. I'll just put it back there. Okay, here, skirmisher 3, and they're going to be firing here. -1, so that's going to be a strength of 2. 47, not enough. Okay. Okay. Now we're right here. And they're going to fire right here at this target and be firing into their flank. So they have a strength of 1, but they're disordered. This one's not in the shrub. It's going to be a +2. Rolled a 10, so no effect there. Okay, so then we move over here. Skirmisher of 1. Okay, and he's attacking here. So he's going to have a strength of 1. 13 is no effect. Let's see, he's got a skirmisher. He can attack here. These guys are in column. Let's see, are they in the, yeah, they're in that village. So, how many's there? Okay, they've got a strength of 6. Okay, that's not going to add anything. The village is going to be a -2, I think. No, it's just a -1. Okay. So we're firing at the strength of 0. 54. Not enough. Okay. Then here, we're going to fire right here. SED, strength of 2, -1 for the disorder, and then another -1 for the village. So they're going to be at 0. 50, not enough. Okay. So then we have this artillery here. It's going to fire right here at these guys. So they've got an SED out. So that's going to be -2. They got a strength of 4. 1, 2, that's canister. So that's going to be 3. So that's going to be 5, but it's -2 for the SED. So they're going to have a strength of 3. 42 will be a morale check. And they rolled a 18. -10 is an 8. So they are going to be broken and forced to move 3. So they would be able to go 1, 2, 3 right through there. And of course this guy can't be a skirmisher anymore. Flipping back over. Okay, so they were here. They're going to go 1, 2, 3 right through there. So this guy here, who has a skirmisher, because they were here and they leave that hex, they would be able to fire on them. The SED has, this is the 3 front hexes. So they're going to have a strength of they're firing into the rear. Or I guess you could say they could be firing into the flank. Let's see. Yeah. They were, well, let's see, the flank. No, that was the rear. Okay. So they're just firing. Well, if they turn, I'm going to give them the +2. So they're going to have a +2. 94 is going to be a morale check -10. They're broken. So they're going to be on the route. They're going to be routing. So I don't know if you extend them another 3. They were broken, leaving there. 1, 2, then just go ahead and do it that way. Oh, come on. Okay. So let's see here. All right, over here, yeah, we got a skirmisher right here. He's only got a range of 2. All right, so we've got this last skirmisher here fired at that square. So they've got a strength of 1, -1 for being shaken, but +2 because they're firing at that square. So it'll be a 2. 60 is going to be a morale check, and they rolled an 18. So they will be disordered. And they stay in the square. Okay, so that's all of the fire. Now we look at the defensive artillery. Which is it's the non-phasing. They say non-phasing artillery. I don't know why they don't just say defensive fire, defensive artillery fire, but okay. Out of ammo here. We do have this one here that's on this heel. So they would be able to fire down onto this unit or even to this unit or back over here. Here, that would be canister, but they can't fire canister down. I wouldn't think so. So they would have to fire. They would have to fire this unit, or they could turn to fire at this unit. This unit here is not in the shrub. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So strength of 1. This unit is got a skirmisher, but they're also in column. So it'd be, let's see, strength of 1, plus 1 for being in column, minus 1 for skirmisher. So we've got a strength of 1. 76. It's going to be a morale check. And they rolled a 68. Minus 5. That's going to pass. So no effect there. And that's it. They don't have any other artillery. So we could then move to the movement segment. Okay. Let's start over here. So this unit here is 1, 2. That's Pettit's, and he only has a range, so they are going to be out of command. This unit is out of command. 2, 2. What's he got? 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, he's okay. So this unit here is disordered. Okay. These guys need some help. So okay. So this guy's in line. Okay. So he is going to move, turn, and come right into this guy's flank. Like so. All right. Um, Pettit. I guess Pettit will just stay with him. But he needs to get, well, yeah, he's better off. Okay. So, well, yeah, we'll go ahead and, we could go ahead and assault because we're going to be in his flank. But we're going to have a -10 because we're assaulting out of, we're not in our regular assault mode. We're in line instead of column. So, but we can still assault there. This guy here cannot move adjacent. He's going to basically stay where he's at. Here, they're going to assault. They're going to assault with this unit. But let me move all of Pettit's forces, if I have any, to move. This artillery here should have turned or did something to fire. That's all right. I guess that's all of his guys. 1-1. Okay, that's over there. Okay. That's Della boards. Okay, so this is part of his. So they can still move, but I decided not to move them. But I could turn them though, like this. Front, front, front. Okay. And now I can move Charlot. He doesn't really have anybody, but so he's going to assault also. So he moves 1, and then boom, turns in here, and he assaults. Okay. And here, they're going to get rid of their skirmishers. And Kellerman is going to back out of there. So no more skirmishers. Kellerman is going to come back. Well, these guys are going to move right here and assault. Okay. Kellerman's still there for now. He's actually going to come back here to this guy that's shaken. He has a range of 3, so this guy's actually going to move to here. Okay. All right. And then this guy here is going to move into here and assault. All right. Delaboard. That takes care of these guys. Well, this artillery, though, I tell you what, why don't I'm going to prolong this artillery and turn it right there. And that gets him a little closer to these guys. Now let's go here with these guys. So I got Huneau here, who has these guys that are limbered. Okay, they're not going to move. But these guys they want to go over there. So they can move, let's see, along this road. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's actually just cost them, I think, 3 instead of costing them 4. Let's see here. Artillery on a trailer road. Well, it's half, is what it says. Half. So it only cost them half. So, okay, would have been here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This only cost them 2. And then they could go 3, and then they could unlimber. Right there. Okay. 1-1. Where's his leader at? Oh, right here. So 1, 2. They're out of order. And this, yeah. Delabord, though, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're within his command range. And they're Delabords. 8, 3, 4, 1. So, yeah. But okay, this guy down there is out of order. But they can prolong. But, yeah. I'll move them last. Let's move these guys here. We've got Delabord here with this guy. We're going to move him in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he's going to assault. Right there. Who knows going to move with this riding unit to try to rally it. Delabord needs to stay close to his troops. His leaders are over here, though. So he's going to move over here to this artillery. Okay. And let's see, this guy here. Who is this? This guy here. Okay. All right, so they're going to move. Let's see. They're going to move into here and assault. They're going to assault these guys that actually, let's see, they've actually got a skirmisher that, so they can fire. These guys can fire onto these guys. Okay. So we're going to have a skirmisher with a strength of 1, -1 for being disordered. But they're in column, but they have a skirmisher. So it's 0. 73 will be a morale check. And they have a roll of 65. So they're going to pass, even though they're going to pass. Okay. Now, these guys are going to go right here and assault. those guys don't have skirmishers. So, and there's where we could have some crossed swords. Cold steel. Cold steel. So, right there. And so now they're going to prolong to here. This unit here is he's gonna move over here closer to his leader. So we're gonna have a movement of 4. So 1, he goes 1, 2, 3. So he goes to there. Okay. And then what do we got here? This guy here. This artillery here is out of ammo. These guys are shaking, but they're going to turn in here and they're going to throw out a skirmisher. These guys are going to move up. That's low ammo. They're limbered. So they're going to move up and unlimber. They want to turn like that. Okay. This guy here. This guy. So he moved to there. He's still within range. 1, 2, 3. He'll just stay where he's at. Okay. So, now with the cavalry over here, what do we got? What do we want to do here? I think we just want to hold them where they're at. Except for, of course, these guys here are in column. And they can't change. Neither can these guys. So I can hit one of these two. So we're going to charge with that unit. So that unit's going to charge. These two over here. I don't really want to charge those guys. They would have a +3. That would be 4. Well, I could try to break both of these. He's going to have a strength of like 6 to 2. That's not very good odds. I really need that somebody. Yeah, I'm gonna. I don't think he'd be able to do that. He better just stay. Okay, so this one here is going to move over to there. Still going to be within range. So I just got one charge. Well, I could hit this one with this, and I think I will. So I have a charge here. So I have 2 charges and a whole bunch of assaults. So I'm going to stop right there, though. And we'll pick up right there in the next video. All right, so we're at the reserve segment, but there is no reserve orders, so we can skip past that to the close combat segment. And we take care of cavalry charges first. The charge phase. So we're going to move in here to charge. Right here. And this unit here is going to be the target, that unit. So put the charge marker there, and we move the unit to here. So we do the charge movement. Empty target hex, no. Retreat before combat, no. Combat versus infantry and artillery. So that's what we have. So the defender has to check morale. And so we take a look at the morale. Okay. For the charging defender, target and square, they get a +20. So they're going to have a +20. I rolled a 21. +20 is 41. So they are going to pass. Okay. Well, hold on. We got to do the charging units CV. So that's 1 and then 2. So that's actually 3. And that's going to be multiplied by -5. So that's going to be a total of -15, which changes their +20 advantage into just a +5. Which means their 21 becomes a 26, which is a failure. So they will become disordered. And let's see, do I have a disordered marker? No. So I'll have to take one from somewhere. Let's take it from this one here. Now let's put this one here on that unit. Okay, so they are disordered, which means they do not get well-directed fire. Okay, so we remove skirmishers, which we don't have, and then we have defensive fire. All right, so we have the attacker, or I mean the unit in square, is going to have a strength of 1. Firing against cavalry is going to be a +1, so now they're at 2. They rolled a 15. That's no effect. So now we go to the terrain. There's no terrain modifiers. And we go to resolve the cold steel. So with the cold steel, we're going to look at odds. And the odds are 5 to 3. So that's 3 to 2. So that's going to be a +1 for the attackers. So they've got 2 + 1 is 3. Now they have 4. What happened here? Okay, I'll just do it this way. Back up some. So they have 4 so far. Charge distance +1. So they charged 1 hex. So now they have 5. CV of 5. Okay. All right, so they're going to have a strength of 5. The defender is going to have they start off with 1, but then they get +1 for their strength. They have 3. So that's going to be +3, so they have 4. So they're disordered. So now that goes back to 3. Okay. All right, so we've got 5 and 3. All right, so defenders rolled an 8. The attackers rolled a 3. So this is going to be an 11 to 8. So the attackers are going to lose a step, and I believe they have to lose 2 morale levels and they have to retreat. Well, they're going to be pushed back because they're going to be shaken. So let's see here. I don't have a. I'm going to have to get a shaken marker here somewhere. No. Okay. All right, so let's move this. They're going to be disordered. And then they have to, of course, they're going to be also spent. They lose a step. And they have to retreat. They have to step back because they're shaken. But, let me get this here. Maybe, let me just check here. Let's see. Okay, so units that lose cold steel worsen their morale state by 2 levels. Retreating is necessary. Okay, so yes, they become shaken and forced back. So they're going to be forced back. But this unit there, it's in square, will be able to fire on them. And they're going to have a strength of 1 with +1 for the cavalry. And, okay, 36 is no effect. Okay. All right, so they, since they were forced to retreat, cannot regroup. So they're just stuck right there. All right, so that takes care of that charge. Now let's move to the next one. All right, so here, this charge, and we've actually got two different units they could attack, and neither one of them can go to square because they're shaken. So this guy's in the square. But thing is, when they move in to either one of these locations, they'd have to stop. They can't keep going. So they're going to have to charge this square here, because they have to charge somebody. But I didn't think about them bypass. I thought they would just bypass those squares, and they can't. So they're going to charge right there against this square that's disordered. And so we don't have empty target hex. We don't have reach for combat. So we have defender morale. Okay. So they have, since they're in square, they get plus 20, minus 5, so they're at 15. This unit has a CVM of 2, so that's minus 10. So we're at minus 5. I mean, a plus 5. So we've got a plus 5 to their morale check. They rolled a 60, so they passed the morale check. So they're going to give well-directed fire. All right, so the well-directed fire, they're going to have a strength of 1, minus 1 for being disordered, plus 2 for well-directed fire, and plus 1 for firing at cavalry. So a total of 3. 40 with 3 as a morale check. And the cavalry is going to be at minus 20. They rolled a 99, so they pass the morale check. So we go straight into the cold steel factor. Okay. So the French, they have a 2. The odds are 5 to 3, so again, that's 3 to 2, so that's plus 1. So now they're at 3. And charge distance, they get plus 1. So now they're at 4. Okay. The defender has a CV of 0. Because they're in square, they get plus 1 for each strength point. So they've got 3. Disordered minus 1. So they're going to have only a modifier of 2. All right. Anything else? No, I don't think so. So we got a 4 and a 2 rolled. So the total is going to be 8 to 4. So no losses on either side, but the square units have to lose 2 morale, so they're going to be broken. And they're going to have to move through somewhat. So I move through these guys. 1, 2, 3. Now these guys here have to roll for morale because they were bypassed by those broken units. So they've got to check their morale. So -5. They rolled a 93, so they passed. All right, so the cavalry moves in, and they're going to be disordered. Okay. Now they can do a follow-on charge if they pass them around. So let's check their morale, which is going to be, this is them right here. They're disordered, so -5. 57 -5 is a 52. So they passed. And they can now do a follow-on charge. And they've got 2 different targets there. They can either choose to go against this target here, or they can go into the flank of this target. And I think they want to go into the flank of this target. This target will not be able to fire on them. Plus, they're going to have to roll morale with a cavalry unit into their flank. So we go back up to the top. Empty target hex, no. Retreat for combat, no. Combat versus infantry and artillery, so we check the defender morale. So, okay. Target has a skirmisher marker, but it's got to be in the target's front hexes. No, they're not. Charged from the flank, -30. And the charging unit's CVM is 2, so that's a minus another 10. So they got a -40, plus they're disordered, so -45. They're going to have to roll like a 99. And guess what they rolled? A 99. Can you believe that? So 45, that would be 50. Yeah, 54. So they passed. Okay. But they're not going to be able to do defensive fire because they're being attacked through the flank. All right. Terrain is clear, so we just go straight to the cold steel. Okay. Odds are 5 to 4, So pretty much 1 to 1. They have, let's see, attacker's CV is 2, -1 for being disordered, so 1. Charge distance still applies, so that's 2. And into the target's flank is 2 more, so they are at a 4. Okay. The defender is going to have a -1. So they've got a -1. See if we have anything else. Nope. All right, so let's roll the dice. See what happens. Ooh. So the French rolled a 9, which would have been a leader casualty had they a leader with them. The British rolled a 2. So that's going to be a 13, which is going to be a step loss. And they're going to lose 2 morale, which this unit has already had a step loss. So they're just destroyed. They are gone. Okay. Part of Hill's brigade. And I'll just put it there for now. So the cavalry unit moves in there. They're already disordered. But as they move in there, they're going to get fired on by this stack that's in column. And so, because they're leaving their front hex, they're only going to have a strength of 1, -1 for being shaken, +1 for the cavalry. So it'll end up being a 1. Ooh, an 82. It's a morale check. The French rolled a 72, so they passed. And so they will now be, let's see, spent. And they can regroup. And when they regroup, they can move up to 3 hexes. So if they move back this direction, no one can fire at them. But these front, well, no, this unit can, because their front hex is here, here, and here. So they will be able to fire again, which is going to be, again, that's going to be strength of 1. But it's more than that because they're going to fire into their flank. So that's going to be +2. Okay, so 3. They rolled a 41. It's a morale check. And the French rolled a 21. So they failed, which means they can only move back to here, and they're shaken and spent. They get the 2 spent markers. And they're shaken. So they had a little success there with their cavalry charges. So you can have success against, pull back. You can have some success against squares if the squares have morale issues, and if they're not, you know, there's not a lot of strength in that square. You know, those were squares made up of a unit with only 3 strength. If it's got 5 or 6 strength, now you're going to have more difficulty because they're going to have that increased modifier on the die roll. So but if you look at a shaken unit, they've got their CV is a -3. You know, we can look at that. You can see it right here. It's a -3 to the CV combat value. So, you know, that can play a big part in the close combat. The cold steel. And we're going to see a little bit of some cold steel that takes place in a village. So even though they got a loss here, where did that unit go? Oh, did they go way back here? No. No, no. Oh yeah, right here. Here it is. This unit took a loss. So, but eliminated a unit and broke a unit. Not bad. So now we go to the assaults. And we're going to take a look at the ones that are right here. And the first one's going to deal with a unit that is in a village. That's right there. So that's a village hex. All right, so we've got this assault here. They're disordered, and they've got a skirmisher. So, yeah, it's that unit against this unit, who, this unit with their leader is in column. Can't be in line in moderate terrain. So it'll only be in line and light or open. All right, so let's get with the assaults here. We don't have an empty target X. We don't have retreat before combat. So we don't have an advance in the empty target X. So we go right to the attacker morale check. So the attacker here has a -5 for being disordered. And that's the only modifier they're going to have. Rolled a 57. Okay, so they're going to pass and have well-directed fire. Now, the defender, okay, doesn't have skirmishers. Okay, but let's see, they're not disordered. So they have an 89, so they passed. They're going to have well-directed fire. And so we've removed the skirmishers. And now we proceed to the defensive fire. And this unit is in column, so they only have a strength of 1. And they're firing into this. Oh, wait a minute, not those guys. Wait a minute. Hold on. They're not firing, they're not attacking here, they're attacking this stack. I got them attacking the wrong stack. They're not attacking here, they're attacking here. So here, this stack is, okay, they are disordered. But still, I rolled an 89. But they're in column. Okay. So with their fire, they're going to have a strength of 1, -1. So they're at 0. They're firing against a unit that's in column. So that'll be a +1. Okay, so 67. And they had well-directed fire. So that's going to be +2 more. So that's at 3. 67 is going to be a morale check. Okay. The the attacker, since it's well-directed fire, -20, -5 more, so -25. They rolled an 85. That's 60, so they passed. Now they will fire. And because they're in a village, they get a -1. And they're disordered, so that's -2. They have a strength of 1, so now we're at -1. Well-directed fire +2. So we're going to have a +1. Right? Or +2. No, +1. +1. Okay. So 74 is a morale check, and they rolled a 19. So they are going to become shaken, and they're forced back. So they're going to move to there. And they're shaken. And then these guys get to move in. But as they're moving in, this stack here can fire at them. They're in column. So they've got a strength of 1, and they're firing into this unit that is in column. So they have a 2. Oh, 98 with 2. Okay, that's going to be a morale check minus 15. Minus 5 more for being disordered, so minus 20. They rolled an 18. So they will be shaken and will not be able to advance, but will have to fall back. And they're going to fall back, I think they'll just fall back straight back to here. Okay. All right, so that took care of that assault. And we didn't get to the cold steel because during the firefight, we had the defenders, they were forced back. Okay. Okay. So now we have this unit here. Basically, it's attacking here. This one's attacking here. So all right, and let's see what we got here. And we've got this leader here. Shoot. I just slid everybody over. Okay. All right. So that's that unit. And we've got this unit. So it's this unit against this unit. All right. Leader. So we've got the attacker morale. I've got a 41. 32, so they failed. So they will go to disorder. They will not get well-directed fire. Let's put it here with the leader. Defender rolled a 13. So they, even with the Ant's brother, plus 4, they are disordered, so that's a minus 1. So they will be shaken, and they're going to fall back. So I don't have any more shaken. Yeah, here's one. Okay. So let's move that. Put the leader back here. Put this back on there. So they get pushed back. And now this unit has to move forward. Now this unit here is not going to be able to fire on this one because they're getting assaulted. So they advance in like so. And then they, well, they still have their skirmisher. They let's see, I think they can. I guess they can't do a follow-on assault. It's got to take place. Yeah, it's got to take place earlier on, but they still advance into that hex. Okay, so, and they're disordered if not already disordered. All right, so now we go to the next assault, which is here. Against this hex. And they are disordered. And they are not. And they are in a clear hex. All right. So that's the unit right there. All right, so we have attacker morale check. A 47, they're going to pass. So they're going to have well-directed fire. The defender rolled a 77, so they pass, even with that -5. So both will have well-directed fire. We've removed the skirmishers. We have defensive fire first. And so they're going to have a strength, since they're in line, they're going to have a strength of 2, -1, so strength of 1. Target is in column, okay, +2. I mean +1, so they're at 2 now. Shrub, -1, so we're at 1. Well-directed fire, +2, so they're at 3. Oh, 86 at 3. Okay, morale -10. They rolled a 48, -10 is a 38. They pass. Now, the attackers have a strength of 1 because they're in column. And they have well-directed fire, so they have a strength of 3. They rolled a 28. That's nothing. All right. So, there is no hand-to-hand. It's just going to be both sides will stay where they're at and be disordered if not already disordered. So, run out of those. All right. So now we move to the next one. Right there. So this is the target. This is out of command. I think it's this one. All right. Salt, disorder, skirmisher. They've got disorder. And they're in shrub. All right. So attackers morale first, -5, 65, they passed. Defender is going to fail. They rolled a 29, -5. So they're going to be shaken and they're going to be forced back to here. And so they can advance in. So I guess they can't do a follow-on assault. It can only take place if there's a retreat before combat or an empty target hex due to, something else. So let me just check that. Yeah, it just says proceed to advance after combat. Attacking units that are in a normal morale state enter disorder. At least one attacking unit must advance after combat if the target hex is now empty. So there's no follow-on assault. I might have performed a follow-on assault in an earlier turn, but so all right. So now we have these two units: assault, disorder, skirmisher. Here we can remove that for now. And so this unit has they're disordered. So we just put that right there. Okay. So we move to the attacker check morale. They rolled a 43, -5 is a 38, so they passed. Well-directed fire. Defender rolled a 16. So they're going to become shaken, and they're going to be able to move into this hex, even though it's in a zone of control, because that other unit's already there. So we'll just stack them underneath. Like so. And then these guys will just move in and keep their skirmishers, so forth. Okay, so that's what we have there. All right, rid of that stuff. So now we move down here where we have two units assaulting this unit. So this unit is in line and they're assaulting. You got the leader with them. Okay. This unit is assaulting. They're disordered and they have a leader with them. They're in column. So let's roll for this attacker. So we got that unit and this unit assaulting this unit. All right, so we'll roll for this first. They're going to have a -10 because they're attacking in a formation other than what they normally would. Let's see here. What do they call it? Find it here in a minute. Attack method. So attack method violation, I guess is what they call it. So French were usually they would attack in column. Really didn't do a lot of training attacking in line, I guess. So they've got a -10. So let's roll to see what they get. 79, they pass. Okay, so they're going to have well-directed fire. Now, over here, they're disordered, so -5. But they have the leader. They also had a leader, so that would have been a +2. Here's a +3, so they only have a -2. Ooh, they rolled a 17, though. So they are going to become shaken. And they're going to fall back. Now, I guess because they're falling back, they would still be able to fire on them. But they're being assaulted. So I'm not going to allow it. They're not going to be able to fire on those guys. They're being assaulted here. So they've got to roll. And they rolled a 61, but we've got to look here. Okay. Now, assaulted in their flank is -20. And they don't have skirmishers. Okay. So, just a -20. They're going to have a 41, so they passed. So they would have well-directed fire if the assaulter were one of their front hexes, but they're not. So we won't have defensive fire. So we will go to the offensive fire, which this unit is in line. So they're going to have a strength of 3. Well-directed fire. So they're at 5. Firing into the flank is 2 more. So they're going to be at 7. 51 is going to be morale check -10. They've got -20 for let's see, -20 for well-directed fire, -10. That's -30. Let's see, what else would they have on their morale check? I guess that would be it. And they rolled an 88. So they're going to pass. They're going to be disordered. I don't know if they can actually turn. This unit would become disordered. I'll have to use one of these. So, let's see. They had some high rolls to be able to escape that. I don't know if you would continue to from that fire combat. It's from fire, not from the assault. Although that is still considered, I don't know, part of the assault. So let's go over here to the combat and take a look. Okay, so offensive fire. They're still being doesn't say. It's talking about the assault. It's not talking about the fire. So I guess that wouldn't matter. They've already been penalized for that, I guess. You know, they're also being penalized when they're being fired through the flank. So, okay. They survived. And if we pull back here, we see that the British have been forced back in this area here. This artillery is in danger of being taken. But, of course, we had advance here, pushing units back here. So the French had some success. We'll have to see what happens in the following turns, but now we're going to have the British phase in the next video.